Ahoy! It's only August, and I'm bringing the spookiest vibes of this side of the world. I've been cooking, and I'm really excited. I have probably done the most work I've ever done for tabletop games in general within the last 2 months. I'm gonna say even before this project. And I have to give credit to my friends, to my good friends, who hold me accountable, being better at doing things in a way that's healthy. Because, be fair, this mainly comes from a place in which I may or may not have been neglectful when it comes to tabletop games, even outside my own projects. So, welcome to the stream, everyone. I'm your host, Isaac MCCanary, and we are gonna do more work. I think for a while now, I'm going to be doing a lot of just plain concept art. It'll just be me kind of working with a lot of the ideas that I have. I'm constantly making a list. In fact, I need to update this list. Probably either by the end of or after this stream at some point of all the things that I have drawn, so that way I can keep kind of a idea record, if that makes sense, of the various kinds of things that I am going to want to be working on. And so right now, we're not going to work on anything that I've already drawn. Every single time I do one of these streams, we start something new. So that way, I just get something on paper, and I'm just moving on to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. I'm not going to be working on the same thing every single time. And the goal is make a fucking lot of concept art. The goal is to make a lot of concept art. I'm not trying to finish anything. I'm trying to make as many ideas as possible come October. Ideally, probably near September, I should start working on more finalized pieces, but by that point, I hope I have enough concept art that I can start utilizing that concept art to actually make those assets. So, and I mean, I got 2 full months. That's never ever gone wrong for anyone, ever. But actually, no. I've got 2 full months. I'm going to start now. I'm going to start now. I say as I'm not stalling. So right now, last time this was what we started with. This is one of the first designs to get an idea of just kind of what one kind of character can look like in this setting. The goal of this was to kind of really cement a specialized identity, if that makes sense. What would make somebody in this setting look unique? What would be something, what kind of things differentiate other people? And what is a kind of basal unique concept that I can make with the kind of outfit design that I have in mind, which is now going to be followed up with an attempt. An attempt is I'm going to try. We're gonna do general wear. What does it look like for anyone who had what does the general outfit of this setting look like? What do most people wear in this setting? And the idea I kind of came up with, because a lot of this is about processing a lot of kind of idea of trying to process a lot of setting idea and process how the setting looks, how people live in the setting, stuff like that. That's something I really care about whenever I'm interested in designing a setting. Is even if this is a primarily horror experience, what does it look like when horror isn't happening? What does it look like when things are normal? That is the goal. Is I want to draw something that kind of represents what it looks like when things are normal, when people aren't getting attacked or going crazy or doing anything like that. These aren't jumpsuits. Doesn't help me. I need a jumpsuit. Why is that hard to... Ugh. See, this is why I feel like I always end up going with this. Because most things don't have... The only... Where I go, whenever I think of a jumpsuit, the only thing that has the jumpsuit that I care about is gonna be the frickin' Air Force. This is perfect, actually. This gives me a wide range. Because ideally what I want to do is I want to draw this jumpsuit as many ways as possible. Get an idea of what kind of people live in my setting. I like the idea that these jumpsuits... these jumpsuits are unisex. The most common outfit that everyone wears in the setting is a unisex jumpsuit. And the reason why is actually kind of setting related. It's kind of setting related. Why so many people wear these jumpsuits, these very generic jumpsuits. And the reason why is that is an implement of either corporate or governmental kind of sway. It's to kind of represent that I'm going to be a little tongue-in-cheek about it in the setting, is there's going to be a lot of elements that are going to be like kind of like soft nudges to add to kind of eekiness of the setting, if that makes sense. Like to make it feel like it makes people feel homogenized and ununique is the idea I'm going for. Like it intentionally makes people feel kind of like unspecial, but with like this weird under like veneer of, no, this is just your outfit. This is just your outfit, and you still have things like individuality and autonomy. Don't worry about that. Like you're still you. And I want that to be like an underlying motif. I don't think I'm going to have somebody come out and like say something evilish about that. The most you're going to see is more like what I want to go for regarding things like the game feeling like people have to go out of their ways to personalize the outfits themselves. They have to go out of their way to personalize a lot of these jumpsuits themselves. The jumpsuits are not predeterminately designed to be unique. Okay, is my computer okay? So my computer was having a hard time opening Notepad earlier, and now it's having a hard time opening a picture. Sometimes. I think I'm having memory issues. The memory is kind of old. I'm noticing that I'm like capping my memory, even though it says I have more, and it's like not using more than half, which is a little bit worrying. Oh, memory leaks. Because really, I want to be able to open this, and it's not opening, and it's breaking. I should have restarted my computer. I was wanting to... I don't want to restart my computer. I'm going to let it try to do its thing, but something is going on with my computer right now, and I don't know what. Because it can't open a picture, which is not good. In fact, it seems that Windows Explorer is stalling, and I don't know why. Huh. Why are you... Well, that's gonna bug me. But it's not keeping me from doing anything. Please let me know if anything happens, guys. My computer is doing fine. That's just a shame, because now I have to do this. But I can do this. This is something I kind of have a benefit of. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duplicate this. I need it as a reference. IDU. It's going to shrink you. Because originally I was just going to open that. I was just going to open that in another window on my computer, and right now my computer's being a bit fussy, and I don't know why. And the reason why is because he still uses kind of like a base. This design is still a base for that more basal jumpsuit design. Which again, today I'm working on this basal jumpsuit. The idea is that these jumpsuits are space safe. They're space proof. But they're also like, yeah, you can just wear this. It can be your general. It also has like kind of like maybe developed as like a form of kind of like generalized attire. Like people kind of different people wear it like to different extents. Some people utilize it as like kind of like just like a form of outfit fashion, like future outfit fashion. Say, got something big like this. I want this to be kind of like big and puffy. And I want this to be kind of because the idea is again like when this goes to pressurize, it like cinches up around. Ooh, I just had a thought. I just had a freaking gross thought. Yep. You got it's for safety. It's for safety. There's definitely a choker that goes over the neck. Something about the neck chokes. Something about the neck is a choker. I think that should definitely be there too. Say this is a little bit loose. Got a puffy bit here. Puffy bit here. And then like some people wear I wanted to design this with the idea that let me think. Like the example picture I have, like this guy wears longer gloves, but like most of them probably have short gloves. That there, there. Kind of like that. Computer, what is my computer? I am now worried why Windows Explorer is having a hard time. So that might explain some things. That's so. Why would that be? Huh. That would at least explain why I wasn't opening. Why does that happen? My computer is fine. I swear. I do not know. It is. It's concerning. It is concerning. It's like my computer won't use its disk drive. That's so odd. Why won't you do that now? Huh. Can't wait to have to deal with that later. God, I can't get a new fucking disk drive yet. Oh shit, here. This might actually be worth testing then. Well, that's not gonna do anything. That's so weird. Why would that be doing? I don't need my computer exploding anymore, please. Wish me luck. Hope my computer doesn't explode. I hope my computer doesn't explode. That would be unfortunate. Yeah, I like the idea that general. I'm just gonna look at a generalized outfit. Like, no matter who you are, your jumpsuit has these features. These are the basic features of any jumpsuit. Got your pressurizer here, the front. Kind of like that. That tight. That tighten. But yeah, kind of like that. Do I want that to be a buckle? Yeah, I do want it to be a buckle. Belt. Like belts. I do like the idea that it's just a reinforced buckle. Again, the idea is that this is not. This is very, like, we got it to work, right? Like, this is not. This is not the best made thing on the planet. Yeah, got that. Pressurizing. And the idea being like, hey, if it's pressurized in these spots, there are spots that are specifically designed to like cut off, like be a little bit tighter anyways. Is kind of the idea I have. Oh, how on a new layer. Not mean to do that. Yeah, we have that, and then like generally speaking, if you have a helmet, it would probably fit over that like that choker buckle to also help like cut off like create a seal. But generally, like there's seals at different parts of the body, so that way if there was something that was to go wrong, you could say still have most of the suit pressurized, just cut off at certain points in case somehow parts of the suit got depressurized. That would increase the survivability that you could experience. It's not going to be pleasant, but it would allow you to improve the like safety of or the survivability of of people in said suits. Okay, it's not supposed to sound like super safe. It's supposed to sound like You can rely on it. But it's definitely not the best. It's barely good. So yeah, that would be like anyone in this setting wears a jumpsuit, probably something like this. And then anything else that is done to it is done by the person. It's either by the person or the company modified to fit their job or their lifestyle or anything like that. But the actual jumpsuit itself is unipurpose and unisex and meant to be one size fits all. So like from there, you could have like people who try different things with it, like some people who decide, let's say, go with paste down here, right? Go with stuff like this. I don't know what it is about these settings, but a lot of characters like to wear wife beaters in them. I don't know why. Let's say if this is like Marine. But the idea being, you got it cut off here, and it's still like cinched, waist down, right? Like a big knot. Kind of like that. It ain't gotta make sense. It ain't gotta make sense. But like, somebody could wear it half down. I've always been a fan of this kind of wearing your jumpsuit at just half of your body. I don't know why. I've always liked that. I blame a game that I played. Well, I didn't play it very much, but a game that I remembered being exposed to at a young age in which certain characters wore jumpsuits with specific. They were girls. They were anime girls that wore jumpsuits like that. I'm being coy. Why am I being coy? There ain't nothing to be coy about. I don't actually know how to draw a wife beater. I have a weird thing, actually. But, like, this is an option, you know? Like, as a way to, like, give, like, a sense that even though that kind of uniformality, that kind of, like, removing of like individuality and stuff like that, like people still do it anyways. Like that's the point. Is I want to like make it a point that the existence of these jumpsuits are implying that, but nothing about their actual implementation will keep people from being people. It's just a way to give context to how people have adapted to space, as well as a way to kind of inject a little bit of both sides of like, here's the functional reason why they're used, and then here's how people ended up, you know, using them more than their functionality. I always forget. I'm gonna do that. How exactly crossed hands work? Just one cross thy arms. Need to go farther down too. To take these, so we're gonna take these. Where did my lasso go? That's weird. I don't know why it switched to the magic wand. I'll never know. I'll never know and I'll never understand. There, that's better. That. And again, just to get an idea. This is just to get an idea. But this is like one way you would see somebody wearing this. You probably see people wearing it open, people wearing it closed, people wearing it tucked around their waist. I also need to open up. I need to open up some supplementary. I need to open up some supplementary. Should also look up. That doesn't help. Oh. That's the Nostromo. That doesn't actually help me. I always forget. The Nostromo is such a weird shit design because the Nostromo is like fucking enormous. It feels like it looks fucking enormous and like it's run by 7 people. Here we go. So this is something that, like, for example, and I mean, I think I could be open about this. A lot of that design inspiration about the jumpsuit really does come from like Ripley. Ripley just wears a jumpsuit. Ripley just wears a jumpsuit. That's something that she really does. And I do like the idea that like a character like Ripley would wear her jumpsuit but like tie it off around the middle or whatever. This is the zipper all the way up. Except if the zipper was up, it wouldn't be at the bottom. Ah, fuck. I mean, well, you gotta think about this. Okay, so the zipper starts at the bottom and it goes to the top, guys. That's how zippers work. Guys, it turns out the zipper, it has to be like at the top. It can't be at the bottom. If it's at the bottom, that means the zipper. Damn it. Actually, I can't do that. As much as I want to be sassy with it, I gotta keep this down. Be able to see the most important thing. That. Sorry. Thinking about the shape of my guy. Thinking about the shape of the lad. Lad or ladette. Attention to how far I pull that down. And this out more that way. That a little bit more that way. That. That. Yeah. If I really wanted to get into it, I guess I would have to figure this out at some point. But for now, I just want to be like, yeah, you've got like the arms going around, like peeled back. Something like that. This would be in front of this. Something like that. Something like that. Kind of give like uh, a half thing to it. And again, this is mainly to give an idea of like what the generalized outfit would look like for somebody in this setting. And it's whatever these jumpsuits are. Because again, these jumpsuits are now like stripping away all of the things that made that like unique design, like what are the most fundamental parts of it that make that design work as just like a thing that would work in the setting. Like what are all the things that it would need based on what I found out with that design. Now I did find out something else about it that I need to fix, which is that the fucking zipper is wrong. What if it's one of those with a zipper on the bottom and it could zip all the way up the opposite direction? And that seems like a lot of work. Hey, cut costs. I can't do that. Hey, I said that they were made to be functional, not well. No, hold on. They're made functional, not great. Not even good. Good. Yeah, that kind of gives you that shape. Again, really the main focus is getting these kind of like sealers. And that's the thing is like these are all like some kind of like sealers of some kind. So like there's multiple points in which the suit can like have like constriction points and like have like belts and buckles and things like tighten it down and then it's pressurized to keep it pressurized inside the suit. This is like this is cool. Get them dog tags. Gotta get them dog tags. Not like my setting is secret. It's not like my setting inspirations are a secret. Why does it keep... I need to pay attention. Why the hell did that happen? It's so weird. That's the second time it's happened. And I noticed this time. I was like, what the frick? What the hell? Why did it do that? One. Well, that's save, but more. We do one more. And this one's gonna be like opened. It'll look like if it's just like opened. Trying to think how this would fold. That would like fold like down that way. This would fold. It's actually asymmetrical. I want to believe because it like folds like over. And this is like a loose fit. And then they just got pants. They just actually had pants underneath all along, I promise. They just had pants. Give this guy like that. Something like that. Hmm. This would be like that. I like collars. I don't know. I just like collars. I will always like collars. Yeah, this is just me if I was wearing this. You gotta start somewhere. If I was to wear this outfit, this is what I would look like wearing it, actually, probably. And I like the idea that like the like buckles are kind of like hemmed in somehow. That, however, stays the same, actually. Like that goes that way. Like these buckles on this side are like hemmed all the way in. Now the zipper is at the bottom. There. Now the zipper is at the bottom. Christ. I'd get it right eventually. Say they like to the sleeves up. It's not a pretty roll. It's not a pretty roll. It does roll up like real fat. Gotta fit all that material in there. Somehow. That go around. Have this go around. That. And then this, yeah, got like, say like buckle here. Got one of them prongs. It's got one of these prongs, and it's got like the middle tongue guy right there. I like me a good clicky buckle. I like me a good clicky buckle. They're made out of metal, but they are just a clicky buckle. What I like to imagine that they just are is just a clicky buckle. Real fast. Seems that I got used here. Down like that and that. Be messy. This is just how I wear all my shirts. Never do the top. Never do the top button. At least I don't. I don't know why. Eh. I've never looked at my shirt closely. That's actually what a shirt should look like. What? 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 Let's say like every single one of them has their patch on the arm, just somewhere on the like fore or on the bicep always. Sure. Why? Been a menace. Being a menace. Stop being a menace. I had to clean up a mess today because of you. What are you doing? I don't know, this kind of stuff just matters to me a lot. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I care about when I'm making a setting, is like what it actually looks like to be living in this setting. I can't. It matters to me a lot. Also gives me a bit of an opportunity to kind of work a little bit more on my anatomy. Sometimes I get a little lazy with it. This is like a base. This is the most basic outfit. This is the most basic. I have uh a jumpsuit. I'm a work guy. There ain't nothing special about me. Oh no, can I not open these? Oh fuck. Oh, that's gonna be a major problem actually. Ah, man, I hope my shit figured itself out, because if I can't open this is gonna be a problem. Still don't know why it's not letting me, by the way. It's just not cooperating at the moment. These. These. Okay, Acrobat. I can't believe I have to do this way. My computer is so busted right now. I have no absolute idea why. That's what's bugging me, is I have no idea why it's doing this. It's getting a little on my nerves now. Hey, at least I found a way around it. So let's see. Got. Okay, so this would be like standard. Hold on. Also got to do more of this. Weird. Yeah, I'm gonna say like, well, actually no. This would be the basic vac suit. This would be like the vac suit without anything else. So the standard crew attire works in the vac suit. The vac suit just gives. So this here. I know how to do this. I know how to do this. Because the vac suit stuff actually is all the things you do to give it the properties of being a vac suit. Why did my head stop working? Oh, what the fuck? Oh my god, if that fixed everything, I'm gonna be mad. One, I didn't realize my head was broken because my shit is broken. And two, if suddenly I can open things, I'm gonna be upset. That or my computer's about to explode by trying to open up like 30 things at once. Nope. Still broken. Don't know why. Weird. Nothing works around here. Don't know why. Pretty much, you know what? Perfect for this setting. Okay, so yeah, this is standard crew attire. So this is standard crew attire. The jumpsuit is a part of their standard crew attire, and the jumpsuit is a part of every vac suit, hazard suit, and even battle armor. It is the base unit of any piece of attire in the setting. Is this jumpsuit? Standard crew attire. And then this would be like a vac suit. This would like be an example of a vac suit because it has things attached to it that make it airtight. Like it literally is taking the jumpsuit and then adding the parts you need to make it a vac suit. And that's their standard vac suit, is just the parts you need to make it not make it work in space. Hello, Silos. Not the art piece. I have all sorts of kind of like computer shit going on right now. I don't know what it is, but for some reason my Windows Explorer just doesn't work. I'm gonna say it's Windows Explorer. I can't open anything from Windows Explorer. It's very odd. And I don't know why. I don't know why. This is the second time it's happened. And it happened at a very bad time in a lot of ways, but whatever. Can't do anything about it. So yeah, this would be standard crew attire because it's that. So it takes. So you know how that this basic outfit takes the core parts of that and then makes it just a jumpsuit. That is what just the jumpsuit looks like, and everybody has that. And all of my players will have this jumpsuit. Every character in the setting will have this jumpsuit if they are doing any kind of space travel. If they're doing any kind of space travel or any kind of work, they wear this jumpsuit. This jumpsuit is uniform. Let me check something. Oh yeah, somebody. Oh. Yeah, because I would. It's funny, even though if I'm looking at the game's rules as written, one of these vac suits is 10,000, and I'm gonna say yes. If you remove oxygen tanks, the helmet, the shoes, and the gloves, and things like the comm system, which is probably in the helmet, and the headlamp, which is in the helmet. It says it has radiation shielding, but I might just deduct that. Why not? They've all of these jumpsuits have radiation. If completely closed, do have a radiation shield on them. Fill the helmets with water. I should fill it with LCL fluid. Don't tempt me. We did actually watch The Abyss. Don't tempt me. If I might make a very special vac suit that requires you to do the LCL fluid, which is funny. It still blows my mind that I've seen two pieces of media that does LCL fluid in very different the exact same way. The fact that it's an Evangelion and The Abyss. If you don't know what I mean by LCL fluid, it's make a note of that actually. Maybe. We'll see. I might keep that in mind. I might make LCL fluid canon to this setting. Because it's just unpleasant enough and would I could see it being unpleasant enough and cost effective enough that they would be like, yeah, yeah. Mm, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Fill people with gross juice. Essentially, the LCL fluid is some kind of weird oxygenated fluid that can be quote unquote breathed. You don't actually breathe it, your body is just oxygenated by it, and it provides oxygen directly to you, so you don't actually really breathe when. And the benefit of that, from my understanding, like based on things like the Abyss and Evangelion, is essentially that it like is actually a body de-stressor, and like if you're under incredible amounts of like pressure or like it's a way to make sure that your body can like stay oxygenated for longer than you normally would. So, I don't know. Yeah, that's like the idea. Exactly. That's why I'm like, LCL in space actually probably doesn't really make sense. In fact, it's probably even more dangerous, but they say there's prototypes of LCL fluid in space. They didn't go good. What time is it? What time is it? 4 o'clock. How's it already been an hour? How's it already been an hour? So yeah, I think that's a good start. This is what I was kind of going for. Gets you more idea of what that jumpsuit would look like. So it plugs into your bloodstream like a needle and is just pumps O2 oxygen into the blood. That's awful. That's just sadistic. Listen, I'm not. The whole idea here is that would also be very expensive, I feel like. They're trying to cut costs. They're trying to be as inexpensive as possible to make things that people literally use to go into space. This is about space tech from the standpoint of we made space tech that works and works well enough and won't kill pretty much most people if it's used correctly. So if anything, the less complicated it can be, the better. Cry baby is crying all the time. Then, I'm gonna do, I want to add. So I should make one for like, okay, so this is like character designs. And then this, do like an environment. Can't look anything up. I can't look anything up on my computer anyways, which is a real pain. I don't know why. I can't, I just can't use Windows Explorer to open anything. I don't know why. It's just not working. It won't open Adobe. It won't open Pictures. It won't open Notepad. But if I open the program itself and then use the program to open it, it's fine. So I don't know what's going on with my computer right now. It's bad. I don't know what's going on with it. It doesn't make sense. It's kind of on my nerves because it makes me paranoid that my computer's going to explode again and I really can't have that happen. I really can't have that happen. Just hope nothing's wrong. I hope not. Okay. Hanger area. I imagine that this hanger is like wide but not very tall. If I need to, I might break out, but we'll see. Yeah, no, this would be like the junction. This would be like essentially I have to keep in mind that like everything on this starport is like gotta be like buildings inside of buildings. So like here is gonna be porting somebody who just recently like we're just gonna draw a very generic looking. I don't think that big. I don't think they're that big. Like I want this space station to feel big, but not that big. Actually, why did I do that? I need to do that. I need to do that. So actually, let's see if this is. Let's say I want things coming in. This is like a shuttle this big. This structure. Keep that structure that big, but I gotta resize some stuff. Again, this is just placeholder. Something like that. Do I need to bust out my ruler? Why the hell does that keep happening? Yeah, something like that. The answer is yes. I think I needed to get a little bit of there. I gotta remember to use my ruler more. Make for better designs. My brain. Use this. We go to like here. Is that how it turned? So weird. Isn't that real fast? Actually, ideas. We have it like this, right? And it does like a lip. Imagine that it does like a lip. But these are like the docks. These are like the docks for people to board and stuff. And like this. If I take the whole, let's say we take this whole thing. Like that, right? Right? So much. I don't know why it does that so much. My ruler. Everything is stress forever. I really don't know what he's been up about. I hope he's okay. He's just been acting weird recently. Very, very weird recently. This is an enclosed space. And we'll say, like, yeah, like, craft come in on the left, craft go out on the right. In there. Cool. Carts. Are they landing or docking? So that's the thing. They land, and then they dock. Like it essentially is when things go to so like this is expected to be largely an open space, a depressurized space actually. Like this space is largely depressurized. Let's see what you see. What? Stop. Oh. You have been so much today. Okay. It's Sit or don't. Make up your mind. You're being way too much. Trying to focus. Seriously. He has been extra recently. I don't know what his deal is. Do something like that. People. Let's say a person is about that big. Like I want it to feel like this hangar is big but enclosed. Any. Actually, mainly, like, obviously, like, mainly, like, kind of transport shuttles, which I am just thinking of as space buses. They're essentially just, like, 737s for space. And then just, like, any. It just acts like a general airliner. It's like an airliner um, landing strip. And anything, essentially, the spacecraft in this setting are designed to be able to dock and be able to land on ground. So like they would have that kind of stuff. I don't know. Makes sense to me. It's just a general like landing docking thing. I don't know. I'm I'm trying not to overthink it either. I'm just trying to keep it like something that would like be functional and make sense, but not like be because you can't think of everything. You can't think of everything. You just got to make it work. Let's see. We got that. Say something like that. Yeah. Window here. Let's see. We got that. Up like this. Okay, perfect. I mean, again, ideally, I'm just doing this as like kind of a reference point, anyways. That and that. One of these docking guys. One of these docking guys just kind of here. Maybe like got like a crane system up here that like moves around on a track. Got little. Of course, I've got to get the Of course, I gotta get the space forklifts. Everybody needs their space forklifts. I need my space forklift. I'm not gonna have a setting like this and not have space forklifts. And you know what a space forklift is. Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh huh. Uh huh. I should look one of those up actually. I always love this thing because it's such the power loader is such a badass design, but it is just a space forklift. It is not a weapon. It's just a forklift. It's a forklift with extra steps. And I love it. This is not an insult to the power loader. I fucking love the power loader, okay? It's my favorite. It is just a forklift. It's great. It's my favorite forklift. share some design bones. Something else. Uh-huh. Draw that out. But what I really want this for is like, give me a general idea of where things are. Because eventually I want to actually make this, I want to paint this as like just like an empty space, essentially, is what I want to do. That's what I want to do at some point, is I want to draw this out as like an empty space. We're actually gonna do something like this. I need it. I need to have like a lip. Oh God, it's snapping. How do I get to not snap? Oh, hey, there's my circle, my square, and my polygon. That's neat. Which is the snapping? Can I do no snapping? That's annoying. That's gonna. It's wait. Oh, it keeps that snapped. Oh, that sucks. That little bit of perspective. I'm trying to make it feel like this is. And this has got like I don't know girders. Got girders up here. Add sorts of details. I don't know. This is why it's like, if I ever get into this, it's gonna be darker. This is gonna be dark. The idea here is like, what would this look like if it was functioning? What does this space look like if it was just working? If it was just working as intended. There we go. Like that. And then this, the elevator, is gonna be like around here. I'm making one of them fun elevators. Like a bubble. That way you can see. It's one of them fun elevators with a little... got a window. That is sunken back in that. And then this is a second string of windows, maybe. Something like that. Kind of like that. Maybe it even out a little bit. Another shelf. Shelf. Get my... You're back. I am starting to learn why rulers are important for designing things. Take straight lines. They're very helpful for making straight lines. Did you know that? Did you know rulers are great if you want to make straight lines? Would have thought. Fair enough. Think that makes sense? Hope it makes sense. How does this room look? Does this look like a space room? I think this looks like a space room. I think this also makes more sense for what I'm trying to do. And I could either do one of two things. I could have... So I have, right now, if we look at the entrance, I have two of these, right? I have two of these, right? Let's copy it. I have to do it this way. I don't know why I have to do it this way, but if we look at this as an example, right? Like I have two of these, right? We have two of these entrances. Maybe like save on like, and the way that I have it centered right now is that, and this is why concept art is important. This gives me a better sense of space. This helps me get a better sense of space to be able to do like map design and stuff. Because like right now, I had just one big fuck hangar. What if I have two? What if every single dock has two hangars that are for different things? So this is the outgoing dock, and then the ingoing dock is different, but like flipped. So like instead, it's it's designed the same way, but with the intent that everything is going anything that is on that side is only coming in. Let's say we have just like big old blast doors here. So like these doors over here. So like this dock is actually for this side. Yeah. First off, get rid of this. Not there for now. Sorry. Just gonna put that there for a second. Because this is like looking into the dock. Yeah, and then like there's like cargo and transfer back here. Have like doorway here. No, way out here. Oops. I hate when I do that. Why are those buttons so close to each other? Yeah. Say like one for ship transfer here. There. I feel like that makes sense. That takes up the whole space. That gives you like a full three-dimensional scape of like the kind of size that we're dealing with for perspective and scale. Really, this is also like many things that I'm doing right now. This is really just a test of my ability to do this kind of like very, very like quick design work. Be able to like really three-dimensionally work out a lot of this space and like get an idea of like, okay, this is what it would look like in this space and everything. Actually, reposition it's at the end. This kind of doesn't. They really rely on a lot of the tow boys here. Those tow trucks are very, very important. Something like that. It's fine. It makes sense. I swear. I swear it'll make sense. I'm gonna make it make sense. Yeah, based on this, probably something like this. How do I want to do this? Kill! Silos, kill! Something. There's someone here. I think, you know what? I'm going to say this is like takeoff. And that each side has a takeoff and a landing branch. Each side has a takeoff and a landing branch, and that landing always happens on the left and takeoff always happens on the right, and both sides can do takeoff and landing. Hmm. Or does this go back to the one design? Oh, this is rough. This is tough for me to decide. But I do think that should be off. This should be income. No matter what, I think that should be takeoff and this should be incoming. No matter what. Kind of like illustrate that. This is put a big arrow on the ground. This way to takeoff. This way to land. This way to landing. This is incoming. I don't know how I designed that, but that one's out. This one's in. Quite literally have gigantic arrows. And then I like the idea that like this is outgoing. This is ingoing. And also have I'm just thinking I don't want to move anything, though. This is the problem. I don't want to move anything, but I like the ideas I have, but they're a little bit conflicted. No, I like that, yeah. So there's two doors at the back of every hangar. It goes to hangar. You have one in the middle. It also goes back there. It also is like cargo stuff. That's like cargo stuff. That vanishing point up to that direction. Oh yeah, these could be where the lights are. Big ol' artificial lighting. Some kind. Oops. I need to figure out some kind of artificial lighting structure up there. Is there's a way. Lighting, 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 lighting. 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 I actually really like the idea that it specifically lights up. That the lights are oriented underneath. Take off. Landing. That. Nice little crane guy. Kind of little crane operator guy who can kind of move around. You've got outgoing. You've got incoming. Ugh, God. It's tough. Hard. It's hard. Takes a lot of work. Takes a lot of work. Want something like this is the question. How weird do I want to get like that? You want a little bit of Bowen? Yeah, why not? little bit of bow in. And the idea here that I want is that this is just, I want to be able to make a like full screen of this. Like I want to paint this out as just like a backdrop. I want to paint it as a backdrop to be able to just put up and be like, okay, this is what the hangar looks like. You're in a hangar. That's the kind of thing I want to go for. Just to kind of help set the mood. I need to do that more, because that probably would help darken things too. $45.04. So that's the hanger. I kind of like that. I really like that, actually. That gives me a better idea, a little bit of a better gauge on what I'm going for, because one of the things that like I'm learning with the system actually really helps a lot with it helps a lot with making maps. It makes maps super easy. All they say is literally want to do a map. If you want to do a map, which I've been thinking about this, let's go look at my last map design. If you want to make a map, in this setting, all you have to do is think of it as rooms and a flowchart. And that is a map. That's all you need to do. And I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense. And then all I have to do is say, this room, this room, this room, this room, this room. It doesn't have to be more than that. Don't overthink it. Never overthink things. I do that enough on my own. This is a simple map. So the idea here, like kind of like, I'm glad I kept this a lot the same. Like I was like already on the right idea. And again, this is the thing about concept art. You have to start somewhere until you can start solidly like making design choices. You just gotta throw something and be like processing it. Concept art is all about processing it, the concept of a design, as much as it is coming up with a design. You have to really be thinking about what that is. You have to, the concept art of a space gives me the idea of what that space is going to inhabit, or what's going to inhabit that space, and stuff like that. So like this, I want to imagine then that this might be a little bit different now, but like this floor is going to be one above this floor. And that floor is actually going to be what? That's what this floor, this floor up here, this is going to be deck B. This is deck A. That's like just a deck that's right. Pretty much you have your hangar, slash runway, then you have transfer, then you have this deck right here. You have this deck right here. That deck is going to be like the meat of where like you have both people being processed to going to stuff, as well as some other things. Thought about that. So we'll say they can handle 2. I'm going to say, given how constrained this is, they can handle 2 docks at a time. Heck, might only be 1. If you really think of... no, I'll say 2. I'll say they can do 2. Window. 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 Let's say it cuts off here. I'll say it cuts off here, actually, so... This... People an idea of the depth of that. It's all the way down to this, all open. Yeah, something like that, maybe. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And then this is like open space for stuff. I want to find a way, so like I want to make it clear that like this space here is like overhanging. Like that. So that's overhung by that. These are lights. This is a big. This is a crane that can move inside of the space. Got landing this way. What's the point? And that helps me, but not yet. Not yet. What is happening? Stop. What is happening? I don't know why that was happening. Let me use my ruler. How to use my ruler. Most important thing. And again, the goal here is like I start or like do most of one environment design, and then I do most, if not one, character concept design of some kind, whether that's equipment, bespoke character. I did like the outfit today. Then we do what, in my opinion, is the, it for me is the star of the show. I'm trying to be quick about this because a lot of it is concept art. Concept art should not take. Again, the idea is to get things on paper and to get things in space. Something like that, maybe? This does always remind me that I need to be using. I do need to use my, I need to use the ruler more. Just gotta use a ruler more. There is no excuse. Is doing good work for me. Your ruler. Use your ruler. There we go. So yeah, I hope that gives a better idea of like what that space is like. That's what I'm kind of working with. That's like what I'm thinking of right now. And this is like what a hangar space would be. This is what all docks on the station look like. None of the docks look anything different than this. Little bit of that here. I'm gonna do fast. This up. Nope. There. Push down. There. There. That gives me like that kind of little reference. I like that. I like that a lot. And I think the idea that I have is that they are two. So there's two hangars. There's two hangars per every single station. And they mirror each other, and that incoming is always on the interior of the hangar and outgoing is always on the exterior of the hangar. That makes sense. So like if this is the right hangar, then outgoing is going to be on the outer edge and incoming is on the inner edge. And if it is the opposite, if it were the other hangar, it would actually be that way. It'd be this way. Yeah. Yep. They would come in, go out the other way. Yep. Ain't that just the way? Now, there. This is what I was saying. I'm gonna be doing a lot of like different things, I feel like, with this. This, that. Space station design. We have characters. We have character designs, station designs, creature designs. Open, 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 open. Oh, that's why I won't open. I was like, why won't it open? What's wrong with it? That's why I won't open. Something's wrong with it. No, something's wrong with me. They admit it. Well, too late for regrets now. Just taking a minute. I'm just taking a minute. I'm still listening. Good on this game for having such a good chill ass time. Just a chill ass time. This game's soundtrack is just chill as hell. I appreciate that. Okay, so last time we had this, right? We have this guy, right? Can't open anything. Really, it is really frustrating. I'm like, ugh, that's I'll exaggerate out. Just try to keep this consistent as possible. We want to get these hands splayed. And the big thing, one of the key things to keep in mind with this specific design is that this is the simplest version of these creatures. But they'll get more complicated as like the game goes on. Is what I go for when it comes to this design. Like this. Really, really want to get this feeling here. Something like that. And I promise that they'll be wearing pants. More of them would be wearing pants. Even though originally they weren't wearing pants. I mean, I'll admit, I was kind of going through an edgier phase anyways, and I was doing some processing of some unpleasant things. So they ain't gotta be that messed up. That said, I do love the idea that these are like based on the like jumpsuit designs. Something like that. Ooh, I like the way that that looked actually. There we go. And I think of that there. They come out. Look here. I like to think that they always have these really, really exaggerated wide stances, or they always look a little bit like kind of off balance, stuff like that. They don't look the most stable necessarily. Just gonna start with very basic. How messed up do I want to make this guy's head? We're just gonna start with something like that for now. And I really hope I'm excited for this game. The more I work on it, the more I'm just like, God, I am really excited for this October. October is always a big month, I feel like, for me and my friends. We go crazy, man. We love October. We love horror games, we love horror stories, and it's like our favorite time of the year. Ooh, I like kind of like this redesign I have going on right now of where this shape is and like how this is shaped, because a big thing about this character design that for me always works is its consistency. The most basic ones is you start here and then I'm going to branch out for how they change, but they always have certain key features. The main key features they have is how their body is laid out. The big way that the creature design in this setting is laid out is first you have the head is mostly the same, except it has developed a bite. It's developed a robust jaw with these big, huge fangs. Every single one of these guys has this, no matter what. No matter who they are, no matter what they were, they have this. Then the torso itself is largely actually unchanged. The torso is largely unchanged. Except till you get to about here, right? And the arms kind of like have this mass and extend to 2 to 3 times longer than what would normally be normal, right? You have these arms that are like specifically elongated and seem to like maybe there's like bone, maybe there's bone, but this seems to be no longer, this is a flexible mass. This is not just an arm. And it has like elasticity and length and can bend and fold and do more intense movements than, this is a single mass. These are just single masses. Then you have a arm here. It terminates typically in what looks like normal arm, and without anything else, it's just normal hands. Just normal hands. The other thing is that the midsection Also has the same elongation with maybe a little bit more thickness for a trunk to help hold up the body. Then have legs. And this is consistent. This is always consistent with these creatures. They always have these main features unless something happens. And that will come with time. I won't explain that yet. But there are going to be variations that come in two forms that are a result of two different things that we will explore as I design more designs based on this core creature design. But the core creature design that I go for when I'm designing these creatures is to be able to have the major changes be apparent but still very minimal, but like very clearly like whatever has happened to them is extreme. Like they have been completely changed fundamentally no matter what. They do not they still have recognizably human parts, but those human parts have started to be shifted in a way that seems unusual and no longer normal for what they would be utilized for normally. I need to move that. And yes, when I originally designed these, a lot of them were naked. That's because I was maybe processing some dysphoria. Bodies were scary for me at one point. I think a lot of people need to remember that bodies are scary. Bodies change, honey. Bodies change. What's funny is I feel like I made them much more shambly. So like, really, we have like one leg there. Yes, 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 yes. I made them much more shambly. Oops. And I don't know why. This is a design I've always kind of had in my like back pocket for a long time. One that I've really, really, really wanted to like because I have a lot more that I do with these guys that vary, which I could start here a little bit and show like how that variance actually happens with the first example, which is the idea being that these are creatures that are utilizing they are utilizing what is available to them. So for example, you have and that they are while they are like mutagenic in nature, they largely are like reoperating, if that makes sense. And that this is like an attempt to make like something that works better for them, if that makes sense. This is a like shape that works better for them. But that they're not just isolated to this, but also have limitations. For example, and this could happen. Something like this. And I'm going to say, like, I'm even going to change the original design a little bit. Yeah. But the idea is that you can still recognize maybe what the original thing was, but it's been like repurposed. The concept that I have behind this creature is that a lot of its elements are about taking some element of the original part of a person, a human being, and then it is not just reanimated but recontextualized, I guess, if that makes sense. Have here is what happens if there's only a hand left. Get something like this. Let's say, but the idea that it has is like it needs something like a mouth, it needs something like movement for legs and stuff. So it has to be able to redesign those parts almost. But because the hands don't have eyes, this thing doesn't have eyes. It has no way to make eyes. It doesn't have the structure for eyes. So it can only really the thing about this kind of reanimating, repurposing entity is that it has to find ways to take what it has, and if they are limited to what it actually has available. So if it doesn't have any sensory organs, it can't make them, but it can't it can't make them, but it can find ways to adapt based on the limited sensory apparatuses that it has. So let's say like these right here are probably very sensitive to like touch. They're very touch sensitive. And the only thing, so they will be like move around a lot. They might, or if they develop any sensory organs, they're incredibly simple. So like this thing could do things like react to some very limited stimulus, but are like hyper good at feeling touch. So like maybe even then, like the way that this like would be able to find things and hunt things is based on like movement through a surface, because it can feel movement through a surface, because the only real sensory thing that a finger or a hand has is going to be touch. So it has to utilize touch as its primary way to engage with the environment. And that's the kind of thing I do when I think of how to do these specific creature designs. These creatures are specifically designed that they start with what they have available to them at a base, and are actually limited at a base. If they just have a body part, they are limited to what that body part has, as far as like both what structures it already possesses and how much physical material it has. They actually can't make much more material than what material the body already has to provide for it to be able to restructure. But a lot of that restructuring is very consistent, and a lot of it is like is like organized. It's like an organized restructuring. They don't restructure at random. They actually restructure generally the same way if they're given the same conditions every single time. That is something that's like consistent about this entity, is that they always restructure based on around what it like knows. It's like it knows what it's restructuring and how it's restructuring. It's 45:40. Okay. I want to be better about this. I want to like be leaving at 6, so we're gonna call it here soon, but I think that's pretty good. I hope all that made sense. That make these legs a little bit bigger. I want to make them a little bit bigger. Like this. I love that redesign of the hand. The hand just used to be essentially the hand from fucking from Evil Dead. Originally, I just made a reanimated hand, but this reanimated hand I like a lot more. This reanimated hand looks much, much more distinct and like it's doing something different. And like they can like take bones, they can like take bones and like redesign them to have like teeth and stuff. So that's like the thing. Like it knows what it wants to redesign something to, but it can't redesign to it if it doesn't have those base structures to begin with. And it has to find like ways to adapt that. It has to find ways to adapt what it actually has available to do stuff like that. So like let's say, I mean, yeah, hands have some hairs. Stuff like that. I need to read. There's like a physical there's like a hypothetical biology book that's like the a hypothetical biology in which like different due to like some far future sci-fi event, humanity gets like physically altered in many different ways and they actually speciate. It's like the human speciation through like an artificial process of genetics. I feel like I should reference that because it probably has a lot of good um, conceptual design for like human speciation, which is something that that book covers, which I think would be very good for like as a point of reference for like this kind of design. Boy, I hope. Listen, it's not my fault that they put this in the game. It does sound good though. It also makes me think of my robot wife. My gay lesbian robot wife. Who may or may. Well, actually, no, I guess it's not so much the gay lesbian robot wife, but more like my gay lesbian reality bending wife who's experiencing brain death. There's a difference. I forget. As we were shot into deep space to not return due to the fact that she might have been too strong of a reality bender and maybe was a part of a group of radicalist anti government individuals. And I was an old busted robot who was becoming old and busted. Hey y'all, go play Signalis. It's a good ass game. Again, I want to make it clear that like the places of biggest change are like the things that are changed the most, but actually like things like hands, legs, things like that, like they don't actually get changed that much. They still utilize them for their like base purpose, and then they change what they need to change, or the things that are changed are things that are perceived to be needed to be changed. There's a reason for that. There's gonna be a reason for that that I'm starting to think of more than I'm like, oh wait, yeah. I know what I want to do with that. It's gonna be a part of the mystery. It's a part of the mystery. All right, 5:45. I gotta start wrapping it up because I gotta be out of here by 6. Oh, by out of here, I mean I need to be out of my house by 6. I think that's good. I got we got some more good work done, and like don't get it twisted, I am like doing a lot of work. Mainly I'm doing a lot of writing. I'm doing a lot of more writing outside of this is what I'm predominantly doing on my own is a ton of writing. um I'm doing primarily writing on my own, and then I am doing a little bit more because I feel like the driest stuff is going to be like the really mechanical map design. I'm kind of focusing on that on my own and focusing more of like the visual design here, so that way I can get those concepts down on paper to start being like, okay, now I'm ready for production because I've got enough bones of stuff that I want to like start doing that, right? Like I want to be able to start doing that. Because like stuff like this is where I'm like, man, I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. Because this looks cool. I think this is like some of my best work in this is like doing stuff like this. And like give this a very like give the I want to give this a very sketchy, very like early concept art feel because that's what it is very early concept art feel that really starts getting those bones in there to be like, this is what I'm thinking. This is what's in my brain and get it out. So that way I can start figuring out how to shape things properly and then also make things out of them. Oh, I did that. Ooh, a thought. Push that down. Kind of looking over my work. This. Oh, just mainly getting an idea. So that way it's later. Yeah, we'll do like it'll work out. It'll work out. I'll like do something like that. I'll figure it out. I feel like this is going to be very interesting. This is going to be very different. In a lot of ways, this will be very different than anything I've done before. And you're going to see a lot of work, I think, done like very quickly too. You're going to see a lot of different kinds of like things about this setting in a very short amount of time. And I'm excited for that. I think that's what I want to be able to do, is like share a lot of what I have in mind and in store for this game. And I hope I have enough done. I think the kind of thing I'm going to go for is I'm just going to shotgun blast as much as I can until October, have enough to start, and then try to run. I'm going to say one arc. I'm going to try to run one arc or one act or whatever. See how that does. See how that goes. It's too much? It's too much. But I'm going to try to run one full act. I want one thing that is, like, done in this setting. That's all I want. So that's kind of the goal. And I'm doing a much better job of, like, reading the books, getting ideas. I'll admit I've been listening to a lot more supplementary content to be able to get the idea. I've been paying much closer attention to, like, how my friends do DMing. I'm paying much closer attention to how other people do DMing to, like, get an idea of what, like, I like that they do, that I might try to employ, and just, like, get a better idea of, like, how to run a game. Because it's not so much that I don't feel confident that I can. I can. I think part of my hang-up is sometimes I get nervous. I think. And I'm, like, a little bit like, I still wish I had a little bit more experience. And sometimes you just got to be like, no, I have the experience. I just need to be able to process it a little bit more and just be ready for whatever. And the biggest thing that I want to be able to do is be able to improv. That's the biggest thing that's going to help with any of this. And I'm getting just an idea of, like, what to do. And a lot of this helps keep those creative juices flowing and helps me flesh out a lot of the things that I care about when it comes to this game. So I think the way that it's also going to go is, come closer to October, I will reveal the game that we're running in, because I think at that point I will need to be utilizing more of its materials, even though I did use them a little bit today. Well, that's not true. I think as time goes on, I will get more and more open with the system we're going to run, because I'm going to have to start using, I already did today, using its resources to contextualize the work that I'm doing here. That will happen with time. Either way, I have to go. It is now 5:50. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do one more thing. We're going to make a prompt, and then I'm going to open up Paint and a timer, and we're going to make an image together. Then I'm going to share that image before we raid out. So, trying on my new jumpsuit. You want to add to that? I'm going to go ahead and open things up. Oh, hey, before I do that, shit. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to move this, and then I'm going to open it. But anyways, until it's been out of the way. This just saves me a thing. Helps me save a step. And tells me I'm done. I'm done. I'm not touching it anymore. And mainly, I want to maintain this. I am open to ideas, but really, first and foremost, I want it to be like I'm sharing my thoughts on something. And I'm sharing how I'm processing it. And if I do find an inconsistency, I'll try to work through it. But largely, I'm just trying to share what my ideas are and to, like, work through them. And they don't all have to make sense. That's what's important. That's what's important to remind myself and anyone out there who wants to make anything, especially if you're trying to make something from scratch. Sometimes you can get yourself into logical fallacies, and what's more important is making it make sense to you. Make it make sense to you. If it's going to make sense to anyone, make it sense to the person who's making the thing. If you can rationalize what you're working on, regardless of how science fiction-y it is, or how real or non-real it is, if it makes sense to you, that's what matters. It doesn't have to make sense to everyone. The irony is some of my favorite things seem to only make sense to the individual who made them. And I still love that about it. It's wild. So I'm not going to say I'm going to make everything that makes sense. My brain. This is about sharing how my brain interprets things. I'm always open to ideas and stuff, and I might be like, "Oh, that's a good idea," or "Oh, that's a good idea." But ultimately speaking, I'm just trying to be like, I had a thought. What if it was this way? What if? And whether it makes sense or not, that's up to me. And it's my job to make it make sense. That's what's important to remember. It is my job to make it make sense, even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. My job to make it make sense. All right. I'm going to go ahead and open up Paint and open up a timer. And I'm going to go ahead and draw this. Let me look at it one more time. Nope, I clicked the wrong thing. All right. Let me do this. I think we'll give it 1 or 2 more streams, and I will reveal. I'll reveal the game. I think once we get to September, I will reveal what game it is, because I think at that point I'll be like, you guys should know what you're in for. But for now, I'm just like, want it to be a little bit of a secret. I want to build a little bit of hype and anticipation for it as best as I can. My players know what it is, but I just want to try. This is something I care about, is building a little bit of anticipation of what the game is. And then I will reveal it at some point. And here's going to be my advice, is when I reveal it, feel free to look up the materials and everything, but don't worry about telling me how to do it. I guess, if that makes sense. I am confident that I am becoming familiar with the game enough that all that matters to me is being able to use that resources. And if I do miss something, that'll be nice. But largely, like, I know I can read. Just don't like to do it. Not always. I just don't like it. Reading is hard. Oh boy. Oh boy. See if I learned anything about my design that I made today. Got that. It does that. And then it does that and that. Does that and that. Perfect. Perfect. Well, stick around to the very end. I also do a bit of a closing bit. We also raid after every stream, so that way the Daywalkers in our chat can keep watching. There's everybody else out there. Make sure to go lock your doors and windows. It's almost dinner time for Daywalkers. Thank you for joining, everybody. Hope you had a good time and you enjoyed the show. If you're able to join the live show, thank you for stopping by and chatting and watching. If you're watching this in the future, thank you for taking the time to going back and rewatching the VOD. We appreciate it. If you're out there and you enjoyed this and you want to see more of what we're up to, I recommend scrolling down below and following or clicking any of the links. There's a link to an Instagram, Facebook, a Twitter, and a Discord. We post when we go live on any one of those platforms, as well as anything else that we're up to, and just generally you can come hang out with the rest of the community there. It's a good time on the Discord. Speaking of which, a shout out to our community there and everyone who follows. You guys are a wonderful audience. We appreciate you. If we do anything particularly entertaining or noteworthy, feel free to clip it and share it on the internet. Just make sure to also hashtag with MCCanary or link it back to the stream so people can find more of the good stuff we do here. And if you want to see the stream grow, you gotta let people know. Appreciate that people have been talking about the stream, and I encourage you guys to do it more. It does help us out. It's just super rad that you guys are willing to do that. So go tell your friends about the stream. Go tell people about the stream. I won't, and I can't. And as always, a huge thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon, Ko-fi, and Twitch. Your generosity allows us to continue to expand the stream, as well as take on more projects. The stream would not be made possible without viewers like you. So we thank you. If you want to see your name added to this list, as well as a couple of the benefits you can get, you could always subscribe directly on Twitch. Check out the Patreon page here. It'll show you either the Patreon or coffee here. It'll show you everything that you can get, and any amount is always appreciated. Once again, thank you. And thank you, True Matsu, doing a wonderful job holding back the robot army of becoming famous. And just thank you for coming and hanging out, everybody. Hope you had a good time. Yeah. Excited. I'm excited. I'm excited for October. And like I said, as we go on, I'm going to be working on a different environment every single time. And I think between streams, I might I'm going to be working on a bunch of shit all the time. I'm fucking swamped. So I'm going to be completely inundated, and that's a good thing. Check out the rest of our friends in Goblin Entertainment here. If I can spell it. That link tree is going to have links to everyone's channels and everything that they've done and they've been up to. And rest of my stuff here, which is everything that I post to. So go check everybody out in Goblin Entertainment and stick around. We've got Barry, we've got Dot, we got Brad. Actually, let's go say hi to Brad and let him know that I'm not going to be able to stick around. I got to leave pretty quick, but I'll let him know. Like, I was working on assets for a survival horror game I'm going to run. So stick around for that. He's playing Resident Evil 0, so everybody say hi to him. He's a good guy. We all love Brad. I know I rated him last time, but why not? We should rate him again. I think it is appropriate. I think you'd be happy to hear that. So everybody stick around for that. Otherwise, have a good evening. Take it easy. And remember, they can only use what you have. And the jumpsuits are cool. Look at how cool that jumpsuit is. It's cool. It's a cool jumpsuit. Hey, I got it. See, this is a proof of concept right here. I think I got you can tell that I was not even looking at my reference. Ah, shit. Ah, shit, I had a reference right there. And if you have a hanger, you've got any dock, they don't make sense. They're weird. Docks are weird. How's space work? Space doesn't work. Don't make sense.